my channel. My name is Sabrina. I'm so excited to have you here. Today I'm going to be doing my most anticipated releases of 2021. Now before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, always bookish videos, and we have a lot of fun here. It is a very kind environment, and I love to see new faces in my comment section. So without further ado, let's get into it. So there are quite a few books I'm really excited for in the 2020 new year. I always get so excited seeing all these new books from all these authors, and I don't know, maybe that's like the most fun thing I look forward to in 2020 or in all the new years, but I'm excited. So here are just 10 of my top exciting books that I'm like just stoked for, have pre-ordered, ready for it. So let me just get right on into it. So the first book I have is Survive the Night by Riley Sager. I'm so excited for a new Riley Sager book. For some reason, I have been obsessed with Riley Sager books lately. I think he is a phenomenal writer. I just love the way he writes. I don't know, I know people have all their own opinions, but I have loved every Riley Sager book I've read, so I'm excited for this one. This book comes out July 6, 2021, and I am stoked to be able to read it. So this book is about a guy who gets in the car with a stranger and hitchhikes. What? This is about a guy who gets in a car with a stranger and hitchhikes. And it's 2020, everybody. We should all know not to hitchhike. We've seen enough ID channel documentaries, okay? But this guy gets in this car with a strange man, and the strange man does not want him to see in the trunk of his car. So this is kind of just playing a cat and mouse game between these two characters, and I'm so excited to read it and see what Riley Sager has in store for us, because I know it's going to be fantastic, phenomenal. I'm excited. The next book I have is The Therapist by B.A. Paris. So I really love psychological thrillers or psychological horrors. So that's exactly what this book is. This book follows our main character, and she moves into this amazing home, and she feels a really close connection to the lady who used to live there. So she starts to kind of ask around, you know, being nosy, and she learns some really terrible things happen there. So she's trying to get down to what happened 2 years prior when the previous owner moved out. I'm really excited to read this. It gives me kind of Family Upstairs vibes, where we're trying to figure out what happened before the main character moved in, but I think it's going to be really good. I'm actually super excited for it, and I really hope it meets my 5-star expectation because it just sounds so good. And this book comes out July 13th, 2021. I have it on pre-order. Yep, that's accurate. Next I have is Act Your Age, Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert. This book comes out March 9th, 2021. This is the third book in the Chloe Brown series. I love the Chloe Brown book. What's it called? I cannot remember the name of it. Oops, but it's Chloe Brown in the front. I loved that book, so I'm really hoping that I'm gonna love this one as much as I loved that one. I have not read the middle one though. I'm planning on reading that before this one comes out. I'm super excited to read it. I really like plus size books. You guys know this. I love seeing plus size representation, and this book is a plus size girl in it, so hallelujah, ladies. Next one I have is Second First Impressions by Sally Thorne. This book comes out April 13th, and I'm excited for this book. I love Sally Thorne. I've read a couple of her books, and I actually really like her writing, so I'm really hoping I enjoyed this one as much as I liked her other books. Now, Amazon doesn't have a description for this book yet, and I haven't heard much about it, so I'm not really sure what this book is about, but I'm assuming it's a romance by the title and the cover, and I have a feeling it's going to be amazing. So the next book I have is The Wrong Family by Taryn Fisher. So this book actually comes out December 29th, but I'm actually adding this into my 2020 anticipated reads because it's like 3 days out. It's fine. So this book is about a girl who moves in with a couple of her friends thinking their relationship is completely perfect, but when she overhears a conversation in the middle of the night, she realizes she might have to do something because they are not as perfect as they seem. It definitely seems like one of those creepy vibe books that I'm like super stoked for. I really like those thrillers where the like perfect family is like actually terrible, and I'm super excited to be able to read it. I think it's gonna be fantastic, amazing, definitely gonna have some twists and turns, I feel like, but I'm super excited for it. The next book I have is The Perfect Story, The True Story of Chris Watts by John Glatt. So and this book comes out July 21st, before I forget. So I watched the documentary on Chris Watts. As you guys know, if you've been on here for a hot sec, you know that I love serial killers in the way that their brains just fascinate me. And I think technically, since he's killed more than 2 people in a short amount of time, he's considered a serial killer. I think that's the only requirement you have to meet. But I'm super excited to read this. I don't know if it's going to have any more information or any backstory or anything that the documentaries I've watched have had, but I like reading it as well. I really want to read I'll Be Gone in the Dark about the Golden State Killer because I've heard that's fantastic, but I don't know how this one's gonna go because I feel like the crime is still new. That I know most of the story and it's kind of one of those cut and dry, but what really intrigues me about a lot of murders where there was no witnesses, stuff like that, is you never know what happened. The only people that know are the killer and the victim, and I just am really curious on what this book will say. I wonder if Shannon's mother and father will have more words and more saying in the book, so we'll find out. I'm excited. Next I have is From the Deaths of Zoe Brown by Janine Marks. This book comes out January 14th, so I'm really excited for this book. It's claimed it's a children's novel, but it's like 300 pages and I'm gonna read it either way. So this book follows Zoe, and Zoe's father is in prison for a really bad crime, but she does not think he committed it. So she's sitting at her desk trying to figure out if he is innocent. So I really like this because I know it's gonna be a family story, and I've really been enjoying family stories lately. I don't know what it is about family stories, but I'm really liking them lately. And it also deals with a situation a lot of kids I feel like are going through with a parent being in jail. So this is obviously going to be a great story for a lot of kids who are going through this but kind of don't know how to deal with their emotions or just are new to it and they just need something to help them level it out, because it definitely is a huge situation to deal with. So I'm super excited to read this. I think it's going to be really good. I think it will help a lot of kids, and it will be something that I would incorporate in my classroom because my goal is to teach 8th grade, and 8th grade is such a critical time in someone's life. So I think a book like this would just be perfect to help someone understand. The next one I have is Reality and Chaos by Monique Kelly. This book comes out January 14th. It follows 3 different women who are realizing that their love life is not what they want it to be. One of them is about to get married and she decides she doesn't want to. The other one is looking for a family, and the other one is looking for a good friend. So it definitely is something that I feel like a lot of us can deal with, trying to find the right relationship, trying to find the right friend group. I know I personally struggle with not only making friends but figuring out where I belong. Even as an adult, I feel like I'm still in that weird limbo where I'm trying to figure out where I belong in the world, especially with college and everything. You're just trying to figure out yourself. So I think this is definitely gonna be one of those books that digs into those topics that we all deal with and we all struggle with, and I think it's gonna be great. The next book I have is Better Together by Christina Riccio. This book is available on June 1st, 2021. So the description of this book says Freaky Friday meets Sister Sister. Sold. Thank you very much. This book is about some sisters who are just trying to go through life together, and I think that's so important, is to have your family by your side as you're moving along with life. So I know my sister right now is away at the army. She is in basic training, so we are at home dealing with that, and that is definitely something that's really heavy. So I know this book is going to help me get through this time, especially while she's deployed. She could potentially go overseas, so that's really something that is hard, especially when you're trying to be close with your sister and you are trying to just figure out your lives together. So I'm really excited to read this, and I really hope it will be something that will try to open my eyes to not only my relationship with my sister, but hopefully relationships with other family members. The next book I have is Good Girl, Bad Blood by Holly Jackson. This book comes out March 2nd, and it is the sequel to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. So I really want to read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. I have not read it yet, but this is my most anticipated read because I am in love with true crime, as I said earlier. So I know this is going to be great. I've heard nothing but fantastic things about A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. So I'm really hoping this book is as great as a lot of people say it is, and I hope the sequel is just as good. The next book I have is One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. This book comes out June 1st, 2021. I am so excited. I love Casey McQuiston books. I read Red, White, and Boyle Blue, and it was my 5-star read. I loved it a lot. It is an LGBTQ romance, so if you're into that, I know I am. I love LGBTQ romance, so it definitely sounds good. It's about a girl meets girl on the subway in New York, which, hello, doesn't that sound just freaking adorable? I'm so excited to read this book. I think it's gonna be so good, and I'm really hoping it hits like that sweet spot where Red, White, and Boyle Blue did, and I just love it. So those are 10 books I'm really excited to read in the new year. I really hope they are as amazing as I think they're gonna be, and I really hope you guys pick them up as well. Make sure you give me a comment down below and tell me if any of these books looked interesting or sounded interesting, or what books you're excited for in the new year. Make sure you give this video a super big thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday book bookish videos, and I really love seeing new people in my comment section, so make sure you stop by and leave a comment. Make sure you hit that little bell notification next to it to get notified every single time I upload so you can be one of the first ones here, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!